Hi class, so we will be moving to the next unit. Though it is more than the a part of the fourth unit, still we treat it separately so that you guys don't get confused with the words and all that. Okay, and in your textbook it's shown as a different unit, so it's better we treat it in the same manner. So till now we learned what does it take to choose a location for your plant, what should be the layout for your plant, what should be the different organizational facilities for your plant. Then we learned how to get the material, what should be the inventory control which you should exercise on that. Then once we got the materials, we learned about production planning, how to go about with your production control, also how to check whether you have got the right right product, right finished product, and what is the quality control checks to be placed. Yes, now we would be talking about how exactly should resources, especially human resources, how should they behave, or what should be their reaction towards the production planning. That is, once you have said that the production should start from this stage to this stage, and then we keep a certain labor class or certain laborers who are supposed to work on this process, in this production process. How well are they performing is what we learn under this chapter. So many of the management thinkers, they have brought in a lot of concepts within this framework. They talk about the time study. They have conducted various studies like time study, work method study, all that. Okay, so we are going to learn a bit about each part and try to link it. These points are common because when you say time, you might be thinking, okay, they have to produce within time. That is exactly the concept, but in what way that differs. All right, so let's move on. The first thing that we'll talk about is productivity. Okay, we learn what is productivity. Productivity is nothing uh, but we try to draw a relationship between what we have produced, okay, and what we have used in order to produce that. Okay, so what we have produced, which is our finished good or our output, and what we have used in order to produce the output, which are your resources or your input. So the arithmetic relationship between your output and your input is called as productivity. Ratio of your output to the input is called as productivity. So this input basically is your capital, your material, your labor, energy, all of that. Okay, now so productivity can be expressed as output divided by input. Now if you measure the productivity of each of the resources, like we measure it separately for capital, material, labor, and energy, we measure it separately, we call it as partial productivity. Okay, out of all those factors, one factor out, see, I have listed out most of the inputs, right? Out of all those inputs, one factor or one input which is very crucial when it comes to work study, time study, and all that is labor. And partial productivity calculates specifically with by considering the labor resource. So when uh, the productivity is measured separately, we call it partial productivity. Labor is a very dynamic thing. You never know what is going to happen with that particular factor or with that particular input. We don't know whether it's going to be a shortage, surplus. It is very complicated. You're dealing with people after all. So that is why we consider this in almost all the studies. Okay, and partial productivity is where we measure the output in a given period divided by the labor hour. How much of time does a person or a worker spend on producing that product? That is taken into consideration. Okay, and then total productivity, or we call it multi-factor productivity, wherein instead of taking it separately, we club in all the input and then get the productivity result. So total productivity is outputted in a given period of time divided by labor, capital, energy, material, everything which is used in that period of time. Okay, so by period we might mean like a month or few months or maybe even 1 year. Based on that we calculate. I hope it is really clear. Okay, here since I told you that we consider labor to be a very crucial resource. We use it for all the study, different works which we are going to study in the subsequent slides, your work, study, time, and everything. That is why we have a whole different section called as labor productivity. All right. So here you are going to measure what exactly is your worker's output. What is the output of your worker, okay, in the manufacturing process. Is it clear to you? We are going to spend a we are going to emphasize on a relationship as to how much has the worker produced, how much of output has the worker produced in like 1 hour per hour or something, compared to the total wages earned by the worker for that particular job. So in order to make, say, uh, this rubber band, yeah, if I am working on this, how many rubber bands have I produced in 1 hour? Okay, and for that 1 hour of work, how much money am I getting or earning? That is my labor productivity. Okay, there are three ways in which you can compute or calculate labor productivity. So let's get the concept right. 100 pence, okay, cost you 1000 rupees. You go to a shop, you purchase 100 pence, it costs you a total of 1000 rupees. So how do I calculate the price of 1 pen? I divide the total cost divided by the number of pens that I purchased. So I purchased 100 pens, I had to pay 1000. So in order to get 1 pen, how much should I do it? 1000 by 100. Total cost by the number of pens would give me the cost per pen. You got the concept right? So 1000 by 100 would give you around 10. So 1 pen costs 10 rupees. If I want to plan to buy 100 pens, it costs me 1000 rupees. That concept is clear in your head. So with that, we learn the points. The first method to calculate is output per man hour. Output per man hour refers to a situation where you calculate the total output and what is the man hours or how much of hours did the people work for making that particular product. Okay, so the total output divided by the man hours used will tell you in 1 hour how much of output was produced. Okay, get the pen example right. How exactly did we calculate? So we take the total output, divide by the total number of hours, man hours, which we used. We get the output per hour. 1 hour, how much of output was produced. Second one, labor hours per unit of output. Okay, so we take the total labor hours, okay, divided by the output. Total labor hours divided by the output, okay, which means for one output how much of time did it take. Okay, the first one says in 1 hour how much of output was produced, and the second one it says to make one unit how much of hours was spent. And the third way is to calculate the added value. We always said that material management back in that chapter plays an important role in adding the value, because the value of raw materials after conversion to finished products, that difference is your value addition. Your value of finished product minus the value of raw material would give you the actual value added. So here the sales minus cost of bought out items, which is cost of materials, would give you the added value. You take this value divided by the total wage of all the workers. We calculate labor productivity as added value per unit of labor cost. Okay, so for 1 unit of labor cost, how much is the value added by that worker? That is being calculated. I hope it is clear. All right. Now, there are certain factors which influence productivity. Most of them are very common, but it's better that you understand in a clear-cut manner. So we have both internal factors, which are more or less controllable by the firm, by the manufacturing concern. And then we have external factors like government regulations and all that, which are uncontrollable, not within the control of the organization. They don't have much of a say or an influence on it, but all of them influence productivity in one way or the other. So let's take the shorter one first, uncontrollable factors. First, we'll talk about structural adjustment. Structural adjustment refer to the economic and social changes. Is it clear to you? We all understand that these are also factors with relation to business environment, economic changes and social changes. Economic changes in a way that you have more of industries in one place, we can say that the place is developed. Okay, because your export increases, your import also falls on, falls under a considerable level. There is more of employment when you have industries in one particular area. Yes, so because of which you can have a very good productivity. When you have more employment opportunities being offered in one particular area, say Belandur, there we can understand that if we want any labor, we have a ready labor labor which is available. So factors such as the economic diagram, a graph of a particular area has a very crucial role in terms of giving them employment opportunities or better products, be it in what way, these have a strong influence. And then the social changes. Now women employees, earlier we had a difference in the pay, men were paid more, but now women have also understood the change and they have accepted it. That is why many MNCs don't discriminate between men and women. Mostly MNCs, others also do it, wherein they understand that they should be paid equally. The benefits are given equally. So when your business world as well as your society is being a part of all these social changes like women empowerment, then equal opportunities for all people, both men and women, and in all those aspects, then those are the factors which influence productivity. Natural resources. There are industries like the key industries, iron and steel, all of them use natural resources. Most of them are exhaustible. Okay, they are quickly getting depleted. They would be turning out as scarce, but it doesn't mean that you don't get iron and steel. If it is completely depleted, iron and steel industry cannot close down, because those are the backbone of any country. For a country like India, iron and steel, right from the post and pre-independence time, it had a very crucial role. So these natural resources, their availability, okay, is a key factor in productivity, especially in industries like iron and steel industries. Okay, so we need to find different ways to conserve so that these industries won't be impacted in the wrong way. Government and infrastructure, government policies do have a huge role. The response towards GST was different. Each time in February every year when the budget is being put in the parliament, and when it gets passed, which gives the new tax rate for every sector, gives the new incentives to be given to every sector, this has a role on your productivity. Okay, infrastructure, Belandur earlier, Sarjapur and all of them were just barren areas. There was no one going there. It is all muddy roads. That's it. But when companies sprung up in that place, when you had IT parks, you had different business parks evolving each and each and every corner, in every corner, even your ITPL also. There, the government ensured that we have proper connectivity. The authorities ensured we had good connectivity by road, by metro. Yes. So this infrastructure and government are very predominant factors on productivity. Is it clear to you? All right. Okay. Now, what are the controllable factors which fall under the purview of the manufacturing firm? First is product factor. Okay, we have an analysis which we normally do for products. It's called as cost benefit analysis. All right, you go to a place, maybe a new restaurant, you go through the menu, you find a new item, okay, something very different from what you have never tasted. You feel like you want to taste it. All right, you see the price, it's a bit highly priced, but still thinking of, okay, let me try this product, let me do this, I mean, see how is it and all that, you order the product. Okay, you order not the product, as in you order the food item. You start tasting the food item, and then you realize, yeah, it is very good, it is worth the money, which you feel, wherein you feel like cost, even if it's somewhere in 2000 or something, still it is worth the product. Okay. And another scenario, when they get that food item, you start tasting, you're like, oh, why are they charging it so high, it's not even worth it. So that is where we draw a conclusive between what is cost and what is the associated benefit. Whether the cost is reasonable enough while comparing it to the benefits. Whether this pen should actually cost 10 rupees because of the benefit of this product or not. Okay. So what manufacturing firm can do is, this pen has the benefit, cost you 10 rupees. The benefit is to write, to scribble, to draw, actually to use the refill. That's the main purpose. Okay. But the organization can think of maybe making it like a space pen or something, wherein you can draw on matter. I'm not sure. So that is another feature of it. So an organization can decide to bring in that feature to this pen so that the benefits increase. What can it do? First, what it can do is, with the same price of 10, it can introduce a new feature. Alright. Otherwise, to give a different benefit to it, it can either increase or decrease the price. So these are two concepts which is involved in product factor. They can make the changes to the benefits by comparing it with the cost. They can maintain the same cost, add on few benefits, or they can alter the cost. So these are the things which an organization can do with the aspect of product. Plant and equipment. What is the efficiency of the equipment and the plant which is used? Whether it is of good quality, it is of a good standard, whether it can do work smoothly, whether there would be any technical issues with it, or would it be, sitting idle and all that. That has to be considered. Technology, every industry, including education, is being affected by technology. Technology is there in and out. Okay, if your competitors are using a better technology, it's high time you step out and start imbibing the benefits of that technology and try to get it for your firm if you have to withstand in the competitive world. So every organization is turning towards technology. Okay, we learned under automation as to, even though we are reducing human labor in a maybe in a negative way and increasing technology, technology do have a lot of benefits compared to the usual human labor which is used. So people have realized this benefit factor and they have moved on to with respect to technology, material and energy. So like it's mentioned, materials in it's very crucial that you don't overstock or understock the material in your stores or your inventory, because both of them either has one bad issue and one good issue, right? Overstocking means a lot of investment is gone. Understocking is where you might face a shortage. Okay, this would affect your productivity. So it's important to have certain inventory control methods in place. And even with respect to energy, okay, there are industries which use a lot of energy, say your petroleum refineries and all of them. They do use of energy. So it is very important they have a proper check on the material and the energy which is used. Human factors. Human factors very crucial. Human factors are the lifeblood of a business. No matter how much ever technology you get in, how much ever automation you get in, human factor has a very important role, especially with regard to the trade unions. If you don't meet the interest of your employees very well, it has an effect on the productivity. Yes, the company can get into issues with the employees or the trade union, and there are enough cases in India wherein the factories have shut down because of this reason, right? So these affect your productivity, the performance of the employee, the satisfaction of the employee, all those have a huge effect. The work method used to make one pen, you might have around 50 methods to do it. It is very important to evaluate which is the best method, which we learn in method study, but which is the best method which minimizes the cost and gives you a better product. That has to be understood. Management style. whether your management is very autocratic. They see, if I am the management, I dictate you have to do this, which means employees, everyone has to follow those orders, rather obey those orders, right? But if it is a participative sort of management style, wherein I ask employees for suggestions, I think about these prospects, I take their suggestions, try to implement them, they are happy, I am happy. Okay, that is a participative management style. So the way the management functions with respect to different operations, their efficiency, their communication with the employees, everything has a very crucial influence on productivity. Is it clear to you? Yes? Okay. Then we learn about work study. All right, work study. So work study is where we would try to analyze the work. Yes, we try to understand what exactly. So suppose I am engaged in making this rubber band. What is the exact work to be done on this? How many methods should be implemented in order to make this rubber band? Okay, in the production process, how many methods to be used, what are the methods to be used, if I am supposed to be working on this, what all work should I do on this, what is the work content? Okay, I analyze the different methods in it and I see, okay, in order to improve the productivity, should I change any one of the method? So if there are 5 methods which I follow to make this one product, there are like 5 stages to be done in order to make this one product. I try to analyze those stages and see whether any one of them can be improvised so that there's better productivity. This is what your work study is all about. Work study is where you try to analyze the work methods. You try to find out what are the different work methods. If in any of the method you can bring a good change in order to improvise it, we call it as work study. Okay, and once you improvise and standardize the method, it can be effectively used. All right, so Russell M. Curie never mind. Work study says work study is a systematic, objective, and critical examination of all the factors governing operation. So whatever factors we learned in productivity, each of them is being analyzed, and also the methods or the processes involved in making this product is analyzed, and we find out which method can be improvised in order to increase your efficiency. So, and the efficiency of any specified activity in order to effect improvement. So which specific activity among all the activities in making this rubber band can be improvised in order to get better efficiency? Is it clear to you? Okay. What are the different features of work study? Technique of techniques. No typo error, it's the same thing, which means to say this is one branch of study which has a huge impact, yes, but also consists of a lot of other techniques as well. We would learn about them. We have okay, let's learn about the chart. The chart is there over here, but let's discuss about it. Work study is divided into two. Okay, we have method study, we have work measurement. Again, method study leads to another study called as motion study, and work measurement deals with time study. Okay, time study. So this entire thing comes under work study. So work study is like this umbrella term or a common term which imbibes all of the techniques which aim at improving productivity. Is it clear to you? Micro and macro examination of work. Now, in the case of this rubber band, since I almost show you the example of mouse and everything, I thought I'll just change it. In the case of this rubber band, okay, I can analyze as to how much of work is required to make one rubber band. How much of work or how much of working hours, man hours, whatever be the thing, how much of it should be spent on making this one product. So I'm going into a micro level. I'm learning as to how much can be, what is the standard time taken to make this product can be analyzed. I can consider the time factor. That is where I'm going into a micro level. Okay, but you have to understand, organization does not make only one rubber band. They make millions of rubber bands, right? production unit will make a lot. You cannot say that the same time would be common for all the units. I make this one product, it passes on through the system. Okay, I make this, it gets moves on. The next one comes. I find that there is some defect in it. Okay, so what do? I take it out, I fix it, and I place it again. Time is lost. It does not meet the standard time because I'm taking it out from the production flow, repairing it, and placing it again. Yes, so when you have chances of getting defects in all of your products, it is very difficult to maintain the standard time. So what should be the solution for that? Even that is analyzed. So at a macro level, that is when you make hundreds or millions of rubber bands, and when you consider the time to make only one rubber band, both the concepts are taken. So here it means to say we take it individually and we take it as a total of all the other products. Logical investigation to effect improvement. We discussed that we try to find out what are the methods. We see which method can be improvised in order to provide better efficiency. You cannot simply go and change the method. You have to take the method, identify out of all the methods which method to be taken. You should see, okay, what is going wrong in this method. You should find different changes. You have to see whether this can be initiated. Does it save on the time, or does it add on to the time or to the cost? If it adds on to the, if your new idea in your head adds on to the cost or the time, you'll have to ditch it and go for another one. So and finally, when you have a new method in place, you have to implement it, install it, see whether that method is being used. All those are the steps of work study, but I'm just giving you an idea. So here logical investigation is required. You cannot simply make a judgment on, okay, change the method. No, you'll have to analyze what is the problem with the old method. Why should we introduce a new method? Will it improve efficiency? All this logical thinking should happen. It has behavioral dimensions. Work study is conducted. Okay, after you conduct the work study, that is, maybe you find this old method, you remove it, you do the investigation, you place a new method. Who's going to do that work? Workers. You have to understand whether workers are happy or they are comfortable with the new method. Okay, that is why we have certain behavioral dimensions. There are some workers, especially the ones who have been in the field for a long time. New method is introduced, they are like, no, it's okay, we'll do it in our own way, we are not going to listen to that. All those are there. So there are different behavioral dimensions involved. Is it clear to you? You understand from the examples? If not, please reach out. What are the objectives? First is establishment of standard of performance. Okay, establishment of standard of performance means, so this one means that simply when you give something to the workers, like start working, that would not have a very keen role on your productivity or keen impact on your productivity. You can't simply say, okay, you can start working on this new method, you start working, get the product by the end of the day. No, you have to fix a standard, because how one worker performs is different from what another worker performs. If you don't set them don't set a target, or you don't set a standard, okay, within this much of time, this much of products has to be produced. If you don't set the standard, people would be, who are lazy would take their own time. People who are fast enough want to do everything and start, they might produce a lot of units. It's all different. So it is very important to understand you cannot leave work just like that to the worker. You have to establish very proper, attainable, those which can be achieved. Okay, you can't simply put some standards 100% and all that won't work. You have to make ones which are feasible. So you need to understand whether these standards can be met, and based on it you set the standard. Okay, you design new ways of work performance. So I told you, to make one pen you might have at least 50 methods to do it. It is very important to select the best method. Yeah, and in another aspect where I say that you identify all the types of things, processes which you do to make this one pen. You find one method, you pick out one method and see whether it can be improvised to improve efficiency. This selection of a new method or means to improvise an existing method is possible with work study. Optimum use of physical resources. Your materials arrive on time, your components arrive on time, your spare parts, everything arrive on time. Yes, but if you have to effectively and efficiently utilize them, then work study plays a major role. Okay, you cannot simply leave resources and sit idle. No, work has to be done. Materials are not going to walk around and go into a machine. See, on a literal sense, all this will not happen. So we need some human factors. Yes, we need other factors who should initiate the production so that production happens smoothly. So here, because of work study, it ensures that physical resources, especially your other inputs, are being effectively and efficiently utilized. Everything is related to the cost factor. It is all about minimizing cost. You utilize your physical resources well, your cost comes down. You utilize them well, then your wastage is low. So all that is there. Is it clear to you? Optimum utilization of human resource. So the last 3 points can be related to each other. Here it means to say that we are going to set a standard for them to work. We are going to analyze the work. Okay, so when we know what is this work all about, when we realize that okay, this is the contribution of human resource, we try to find out through labor productivity what are the total hours to make, how much in 1 hour, how much of input output can be made. All those is being processed, all the information is processed in making. So all these processes are done so that we have a standard which can be given, a target which can be given to the workers so that they perform better. So human resources, being a very crucial resource, can be efficiently used by this method. Evaluation of human work. Okay, very crucial again, because we need to understand what is the contribution of human resource. In what better way are they contributing? All those have to be considered. Okay, and all those are considered for work study. What are the general procedures? Very simple procedures. You just need to know what is it all about. First, you select the job, whether you have to do the processing, you have to compare the methods of, you have to take into consideration the methods of making a pen or the ones used for making a pencil. Which job to take in, which process to adopt. What are the different facts of the process? So you list down what are the different methods, what all is used. We record all the facts. Okay, then we analyze, or we scrutinize each of those facts, all the facts. For example, in making this pen, there are 5 stages. The first stage takes so much of people to do the work, and this is the time. For the second stage, so much of people are working and the time taken by them is so much. So we list down all the facts, then we start analyzing or examining all those facts. After examining them well, we try to find out a new method which can be put in place instead of the old method. Okay, in the new method, we clearly state what is the work to be done in that new method. Okay, what is the standard time? So if the first stage of production take 15 minutes to do it, maybe the new method says that okay, you need only 10 minutes to do it. Okay, so that standard time has to be fixed. So once everything is measured, kept, you have a very nice analysis, put it on paper, like make a very proper structure which says this is the new method, this is the way to do it, this is the time that you should take. Everything has to be neatly defined. Once it is defined, you have to install the method, see that the method is being implemented. Okay, and then constantly check whether the method is going as per the flow. Okay, whether employees are comfortable working under the new method, whether it is feasible, it is working properly. That is where you maintain the new method. See that it is consistent. If there are any issues with it, go back, see what is it, correct it and bring it back into place. So these are the general steps which cover aspects related to method study, motion study, all that which we learn. But these are the general steps of work study procedure. So in the previous slide, if you're not clear about the product factor, I don't know how many of you are clear. I'll just repeat it. It compares the cost and the benefit. Okay. in this pen, if it is costing you 10 rupees, okay, you would find features which you feel are worth of 10. Okay, you'll find that you can write or dribble with it, doodle with it, all that is there. Not dribble, doodle with it, yeah. But if at the same cost of 10, I plan to add another feature, that is you can write it on space, okay, you can do something else with this pen. Those are the extra features which I add on with the same cost, okay. And another scenario where I try to add on other features, but what do? I alter the cost. So if I say, okay, one more feature has to be added, a new cost has to be prescribed. That is why your different versions of, say, iPhone cost differently. It doesn't cost the same thing. So all those are the product related factors. I hope that point was clear. Thank you.